Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Navigating the Opportunities and Challenges in the Resort and Boutique Hotel Industry webcast. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. During the presentation, we'll have a question-and-answer session. You can ask questions at any time during the presentation. Click the green Q&A icon on the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Type your question in the open area, then click Send to submit. If anyone should require assistance during this conference, please press star then 0 on your touch-tone telephone to speak with an operator. As a reminder, this conference call is being recorded. I would now like to introduce your host for today's conference, Ms. Lauren White. Ms. White, you may begin your conference.
Hello, I'm Lauren White, a member of the Zurich Program's marketing team, and I'm pleased to welcome you to today's webinar, Navigating the Opportunities and Challenges in the Resort and Boutique Hotel Industry. This webinar is brought to you by Z-Programs Match, which is an online tool that connects retail insurance agents with Zurich Program administrators. It's a direct link for you to gain access to this coverage, as well as more than 50 other Zurich programs. Today's webinar will run approximately 30 minutes, with about 10 minutes reserved at the end for questions and answers. As the operator mentioned, please feel free to submit your questions at any time during the webinar. Today's webinar will be recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted in the Knowledge Center on Z-Programs Match within about the next week. In today's webinar, we will provide an overview of the Resort and Boutique Hotel program, highlight some trends in the industry, discuss examples of frequent claims seen in the Resort and Boutique Hotel industry, and share some risk mitigation techniques specific to this industry. Our presenters for today's call are Chris Bolger, Tom McDonough, and Carol Ulrich. Chris is the Director of Risk Management with Venture Programs, the program administrator for this program. He has over 18 years of experience in the risk management and insurance industry and is responsible for loss analysis to identify loss driver trends and improve loss ratios through the application of appropriate risk management techniques. Tom is a senior underwriter with Venture Programs. He has about 10 years of experience in the insurance industry and is responsible for production and service related to hotels and resorts in the Central and Northeast Territories. Carol is a senior underwriter with Zurich and has over 35 years experience in the insurance industry, including 24 years of underwriting experience in all lines. Now, Tom, could you start us off by giving us a bit of background about Venture Programs?
Yes, thank you, Lauren, and thank you everyone for joining the webinar today. For those of you not familiar with Venture, the programs division of our company started in 1993 with the Preferred Club program. The program targets private golf clubs, high-end public courses, and golf management companies. In 2005, we were fortunate to add Zurich as a partner to the Preferred Club program, and we went on to expand that offering to golf resorts and private golf communities. So after several years of growth with golf lodging destinations, we saw an opportunity to expand to similar destinations, hotels and resorts that may not have golf exposure. And this led to the formal introduction of our Suite Life Hotel and Resort program in 2010. So it's a very quick background on us, and now we can talk a little bit about the program appetite. The Suite Life Hotel and Resort program targets 4 categories: hotels, resorts, private social clubs with guest lodging. So these can be city clubs or higher institution clubs typically found in major cities. Harvard Club in New York, Milwaukee Athletic Club in Wisconsin, and Fort Worth Club in Texas are a few. The 4th category is private resort communities. So these are gated communities with lodging and amenities such as a clubhouse, on-site restaurant, pools, and tennis courts. The hotel category consists of premier and full-service hotels. So these are brand names or sometimes called flagged hotels that have amenities like a high-end restaurant, a lounge or bar, meeting rooms, conference centers. They can have a spa, fitness centers, pools, retail shops, and so on. And they commonly also have auto exposure, including a valet and a shuttle service. So what we're targeting here are brands like a Hilton, a W Hotel, Marriott Hotel, or a Westin. At this time, we are not considering limited service hotels, such as a Hampton Inn, Red Roof Inn, and a Comfort Inn in the program. The boutique or independent hotels or those not affiliated with a major chain, but that provide the same type of amenities. They typically have some unique design or architecture or atmosphere to set themselves apart. A few examples would be the Hollywood Roosevelt in West Hollywood. New York City has the Hotel Edison and the Eden Rock Hotel down in Miami. Well-run independent hotels, like we just mentioned, have really caught on, mostly because that unique feel can't be replicated. So the large brands know this, and they've countered with what they call lifestyle hotels, and that essentially mimic the unique look and feel of the boutique hotels. So Intercontinental Hotel Group has Hotel Indigo, and Starwood has the Element Hotel as a couple examples of those. Condo hotels mostly are properties that are legally a condominium, where the individual unit owner may visit for a couple weeks per year, then the remainder of the year turn it over to the management company to rent out in a hotel-like manner and share in the profit. The condo hotels are frequently found in ski areas such as Park City, Utah, Aspen, Colorado, Vermont, and we also find them in urban areas as well. The hotel management companies that we insure typically have holdings that align with the same appetite we just listed. So you get the theme here. We're targeting high-end, well-funded, well-run lodging properties. All right. So our program offering. The program is an admitted all-line solution with Zurich as our lead carrier on the package, including miscellaneous professional liability, the umbrella policy, and workers' compensation. And a key to our program is the ability to include all those lines of business that you see under package on one policy. So we're really trying to make that initial placement and the subsequent renewals as easy as possible for you. All right, the program features slide. So now you know a little bit about what we target. Let's talk about the features that will help you write and retain this type of business. This product is filed in all 50 states, and our company has proprietary products exclusively through the programs division of Zurich. We offer competitive pricing and forms. One of the most important features is our expansive capacity. This capacity is necessary with the large hotels and resorts that we target. And there are a limited number of competitors who have the ability to have this capacity and less that offer a full package. Tree capacity is a question that comes up frequently in large cities. It is very rare that we have an issue. Carol, can you jump in and comment on the modeling process with Zurich?
Sure, thanks, Tom. So tree capacity, as we know, is a limited commodity, especially in high-risk targeted locations like New York and Chicago. To be proactive in managing that capacity, Zurich does tree modeling on all of these risks prior to quoting.
Thanks, Carol. So when our team gets a submission or you call in, we're going to get that modeling over to Zurich immediately when we have your submission. And right away, we can tell you what we can do with the property. Our standard offering includes both property enhancement and general liability enhancement with an extensive list of benefits that we found most important to our clients. So we continually evaluate our program and the feedback provided to us by our brokers so we can stay ahead of the curve. Business income is a key component to our coverage, particularly because of the amount of time it can take to rebuild these large properties and the amount of time in advance that these properties book their conferences and weddings and trade shows. The business income loss is often the most critical component of the property coverage. We offer BI at agreed value, and our program includes an unlimited period of restoration and at least 365 days extended period of indemnity. In most states, we actually offer a 24 months extended period of indemnity when the operation is restored. We also extend building ordinance coverage to include business income. Another key feature is our access to our preferred club golf forms. So if there is damage to a golf course, our tee to green coverage provides named perils coverage to the playing surface. Also, a loss of the golf course can trigger the business income coverage, even if there was no damage to the hotel or resort itself. For general liability, we are non-auditable in most states, and typically the way we handle this is we request financials or an income statement up front just to verify the exposures listed on the application. We do include third-party discrimination. We actually just refreshed our forms to include physical disability a couple months back. We can add the miscellaneous professional liability endorsement, and that's for your spa, fitness, golf, and tennis professionals, which most of our clients have. And to round out, we do have a $100 million umbrella option. Zurich is the lead carrier on that. And we also can place the work comp, cyber, pollution, and EPL to really round out the offering for you. All right, benefits of venture programs in Zurich. We have a very knowledgeable team of underwriters in terms of the number of years of experience and the number of hotels and resorts that we have reviewed. All we do in this group is underwrite the hotels and resorts we're discussing today. We have a vast database of lodging properties throughout the country that we want to write or have written or have looked at in the past. So if you're interested in a particular risk, we welcome you to contact us and we can discuss the opportunity even prior to a submission. Our coverage and pricing are very competitive. We've tailored to high-end hotels and resorts. We use revenue as our rating basis instead of charging per room. We like the flexibility that that gives us. We fully understand that revenues are inflated if the hotel charges $800 a room instead of $100 a room, but we do have the tools to address this. We do offer competitive commissions. They're right in line with any other market that's offering a similar type of product. We have a dedicated sales and marketing team that can share information on hotels and resorts that we write or those that we are interested in writing. We are members of hotel associations. We attend trade shows and conferences. We have print ads in related magazines, and we also publish articles so that we're recognizable to your client. So we do a lot of work to brand the product in hopes that when you do present, they're going to recognize our name. We also have a very impressive list of clients that we can share with you in any given geographic area. So if your client does not recognize our program, they're certainly going to recognize the clients that we insure in their specific area. Carol, can you take the Zurich column?
Sure. Zurich's financial strength ratings are among the strongest in the industry and the fourth largest writer of commercial property and casualty insurance in North America. We have a team of hospitality-focused risk engineers with over 200 years of combined experience. Most of them have come from this industry prior to working for Zurich and are qualified to address the special events and the growing exposures with security and technology associated with these operations.
Thanks, Carol. And in just a minute, we'll have Chris Bolger talk a little bit more about loss control. The Zurich Loss Control Department does a great job assisting us with the property inspections and the risk evaluation. Typically, we do all of our inspections post-bind. It is rare, but if the need arises, we can certainly do a pre-binding inspection as well. All right, so we did want to talk about a few industry trends today, just so we're not here talking about ourselves. U.S. hotel occupancy was at or near all-time highs in 2015, and the revenues have actually been increasing for the past few years. So it's a great time to own a hotel, and because of that, in comes additional supply, and that really takes place in the form of new construction and also acquisitions of existing operations. And we're prepared to handle both types of submissions. So we want to see that the owner is an experienced real estate group or that they're turning over control of the operation to an experienced hotel management company. So really we're underwriting the owner or the management company versus the hotel itself because it would be new. And that, along with our supplemental application, which is very thorough, typically provides us with adequate information to feel comfortable about the risk. Condo hotels, which we mentioned before, are becoming more common in resort areas and also major cities. In addition to the traditional condo hotel we touched on, the trend for a few years now has been the split hotel and condo in the same building. And there's a few reasons for this. When the housing market was dropping in the mid-2000s, many developers were stuck with new condo buildings, so they converted them to hotels really as a necessity to try to monetize the building. And another reason, if you're developing or developers going after new construction, is to secure funding for the project. So you have construction plans for a 10-story building. You can sell out the top few floors to individual condo unit owners to help fund the project prior to construction. And then once built, the bottom floors are going to just be a standard hotel risk, and typically they actually have separate elevators between the hotel and the condos as well. So we write both types of condo hotels in the Suite Life program. We will add the Condo Owners Association as a named insured on the policy, and we can also add the GL endorsement for the individual unit owners. The fourth box we have up there is the loaner autos, which I think is fun. So loaner autos are really trending at these 5-star type hotels. So the luxury automakers loan a fleet of cars to targeted hotels, and the guest checks in, and among the amenities, they can check out one of these cars, which will be the latest model of some luxury car. So an example, at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills, they have a collaboration with BMW, and Blackberry Farm in Tennessee, they have a collaboration with Lexus. And this is a very big differentiator for the hotel. It's certainly an exciting perk for the guests, and I'm sure it helps drive people to that particular hotel. It's brilliant for the automakers because they're finding a way to market directly to their target audience. We are familiar with this exposure. We have accounts with these exposures, and we are able to provide auto coverage while the cars are with the hotel. All right, so in addition to the industry trends, I thought we could bring on Chris Bolger, who's our Director of Risk Management, to talk about some claims trends as well as our approach to risk management at Venture.
Great, thank you, Tom. And I just need to correct you, loaner autos are not fun for me. We at Venture in Zurich like to take a holistic approach to risk management. As you will see over the next couple slides, we take into consideration claims trends, safety, risk management, and loss engineering. We learn from claims, loss control, site inspections, safety audits, loss analysis to garner information, to customize and provide our resources to address loss drivers to not only the insureds but the brokers as well. We are there to supplement what the broker already provides, and what we do before, during, and after a claim all have an effect on performance. And we want to make that effect a positive effect by reducing our overall cost of risk. Now you can see by our claims trends, basically this is a graph of our program experience, the Suite Life program, from the beginning of 2010 through December 31st of 2015. The bar graph are the frequency, which are the numbers of claims, and the line graph indicates what the severity is on those given claims. Now you can see on the line of business there's rarely a one-to-one correlation. General liability, you have a lot more claim frequency but less severity. However, on property, you have less frequency, more severity, because those claims are typically cost a little bit more. And what we've done is we've taken a look at all our losses, and Zurich provides a great loss run so we can do an analysis in this depth of what our top 5 loss leaders are by severity for each of the lines of business. General liability, as you can see, we have on-premises slip, trip, and falls. Property, your basic losses are water damage from frozen pipes, that sort of thing, weather, fire. And to tie into what Tom said earlier, the business income coverage expands the benefits to the insured, minimizing their out-of-pocket loss on this exposure. And automobile, we have collision and multiple vehicle accidents. Hopefully none of those are loaner autos. And like I said, there's no direct correlation between frequency and severity. However, frequency does lead to severity. So if you have a bunch of slip and falls in a property, there's something that needs to be done. It indicates a trend. And when we look at the trending, we want to provide some information to avoid that one claim that's going to pop and show up on the loss runs. We also work on the claims with our adjusting team at Zurich, and they have a lot of experience relative to all these types of claims in the hospitality industry, which, as you know, some brokers will know, We have an excellent fraud investigation selection of our claims. The adjusters know when a claim is sort of questionable and when to spend the additional time investigating those sort of claims. So overall, our risk management, safety and risk management program, we utilize the claim trending data, like I said, to customize and individualize services. Working with the safety engineers, we do the site inspection. They also have extensive hospitality experience for all lines in automobile, general liability, property. Anything that comes up, they'll be able to provide a solution to your exposure. And the great thing about our loss control engineers is they take an insured advocate approach. When they go out, they indicate that they're here to support the existing program, identify any weaknesses, and help establish a stronger program and give them assistance where they need it. For example, we recently had a risk engineer go out to a insured, and the insured, believe it or not, did not have carbon monoxide detectors. So luckily, the risk control engineer caught this and gave them the resources on how to do it. And, you know, obviously, by having that, they were able to detect the carbon monoxide, which is an odorless, colorless gas that, unfortunately, can kill. We also have resources to address loss drivers for each line of business. General liability, we have information that's branded. We have white papers. We have checklists for slip, trip, and fall protection, not only in general, but in the kitchen, restaurants, housekeeping, external of the business, outside in the parking lots. You know, this specific loss control information really gives the insured the tools to put something in place to help them. We also do the same for property. We do the site inspections. We have winterization information, hotel security, kitchen inspection, anything that will help the insured get up to national standards and provide them with information on how to do inspection and tests and update their maintenance plans. And once again, auto, we have valet and shuttle training techniques, safe driving. There's a lot of things that people don't think about is pre-employment. When you have somebody going for a valet job or a shuttle job, you want to do some pre-employment screening to, you know, vet out any individuals with prior, you know, points on their driver's license. You don't want them being responsible for shuttling our clients. We also have the ability to compare year-to-year frequency and severities of the different lines of businesses, and we can provide that not only on a program basis, but on an insured basis as well. So ultimately, from our program performance, our review of the industry loss trends, and the individual insured programs, and individual insured's performance, we can address the client's specific needs and get them the information for them to implement a successful risk management program. And the more successful the insured is, the more successful we are, so we figure why not provide them the tools to be successful. The losses and coverages are reviewed periodically, and as Tom said, specific coverage terms and conditions may be adapted and incorporated into a policy refresh so we can tweak the coverages to make it more beneficial to the client. Now, Tom will take us back to some of the additional coverages provided by the program. Tom?
Thanks, Chris. And we really wanted to mention these two things. As Chris touched on some of the losses we see and the steps we take to mitigate them, these next two items come up on most of our accounts. So it's a great thing to touch on here with a lot of people on the line. So there's fungi bacteria exclusion, which is a standard exclusion on the ISO GL policy. And the same with us, typically this is excluded on our policy. The largest concern here is that this can lead to Legionnaire's disease. So the exclusion on our policy actually can be removed with acceptable completion of our water infiltration supplemental. So as long as they fill out these questions, that they are aware of these exposures, and they maintain the property and proper upkeep of the property to mitigate this exposure, we can remove that exclusion for them. Also, abusive acts coverage comes up very frequently, as we do have many of our hotels and resorts with spas and or child care exposure. So our standard position is that we are silent on abusive acts. Now, the risk must perform criminal background checks on all workers and volunteers, and also must have an abusive acts policy in place that's signed and acknowledged by their employees and volunteers. If it's not something that they have, we can help you with this. So on our company website, we have a sample abuse policy and a procedure template. You can contact us directly and we can discuss, or you can go to our website for that. Assuming all these controls are in place, we do have another supplemental application specifically for abusive acts where we can add a positive grant of coverage. And what the positive grant of coverage does allow is it allows the exclusion to be removed on the umbrella policy as well.
And Tom, we've actually had claims on both of these types of Legionnaires and abusive acts where, in fact, it has strengthened our defense by having those policies and procedures in place, which was provided by the insured at submittal time. So it really strengthened our position in defense of these claims.
Great. Thanks, Chris. So everyone on the line, we really appreciate your time today. We hope that you find our hotel and resort offering provide your insurer with a really comprehensive insurance program. So we have the staff, the industry knowledge, the risk management program, the responsiveness, and the great carrier partner in Zurich that really sets us apart in this space. So now I'm going to turn it back to Lauren White for more information on how to access venture programs through the Z Programs Match website.
Thank you, Tom. So the first step is to go to zprogramsmatch.com and register, or log in if you've already created a profile. Next, you'll want to go to the Programs tab and locate the Resorts and Boutique Hotels program within the Specialty section. The program profile page will provide you with an overview of the program. A lot of the information you heard today and the appetite is all listed there in one place. To request contact from Venture Programs, click the orange Contact this Program Administrator button and submit the request for contact. Once you've requested contact for the program, you'll receive direct contact from Venture on average within about 2 business days. Now, before we open it up to you for questions and answers, we'd like to ask you to take just a few minutes to give us your feedback about today's webinar. So I'm pushing out a survey now that you should see pop up on your screen shortly. And just take a few minutes there to fill out the survey. And we really appreciate your feedback during all of our webinars, and we use that information to tailor our future webinars and content to make sure that we're providing the most relevant information for you. And at this time, we'd also like to invite you all to submit any questions that you have. We have a few already submitted, so you can just type in your questions there, and Chris, Tom, and Carol will do the best they can to answer as many questions in the time we have left. We'll get started with those while the audience is finishing up with the survey. So let's see. We have a question here. Do you write monoline general liability?
So I'll take that, Lauren, and the answer is yes, we do. So typically our program is a standard package, but if the general liability is on a schedule, we certainly can write the GL monoline. Where we probably see that most often is our hotel management companies. A lot of times they like to split the property and the casualty, so we're happy to take a look at the monoline general liability.
Okay, thank you. Another question we have here is, how do you handle coastal properties?
So similar to what we mentioned with TRIA, there's a modeling process in place. So as soon as we get that submission, we are going to win model, and that model is going to tell us what deductible is required, what percentage deductible, and also what win-low premium will be required. So as soon as that modeling is complete, we'll provide you with that feedback. We can have a discussion of whether or not that makes the most sense to your client. Remember, this is an admitted package product. So in some places, you could be on an island, you could be on Collins Avenue in Florida. Maybe admitted insurance doesn't make the most sense. If it does not make the most sense, our program, we do have a CAT property specialist here, and we can go non-admitted if it does not qualify for the admitted program.
Okay, we have a couple more questions here. What about a resort with a water park exposure?
Sure. So we are not a market for the water park itself. We write many resorts that do have water park exposures. We typically see those in the Wisconsin area and across the Poconos in Pennsylvania, typically areas that are a little bit colder geographically. So the way that works is if the hotel itself meets our criteria, we would write the GL on the hotel. We would exclude the water park. We can write the property for the whole property. So we can write the property on the water park as well as the hotel. There are several standalone E&S markets that do a great job with those water parks. And we found with our brokers that specialize in those types of risks that really the best way to go is with us on the hotel and that non-admitted carrier on the water park.
Okay, thank you. We've got a couple more here. Are resorts that are tied to marinas acceptable?
Yes, very much so. Again, we're looking for high-end lodging. So if it fits that appetite, if it's a higher-end, full-service hotel and resort, we are interested in that on both the general liability and the property. We do consider a limited number of slips as far as docks. We don't write a full-scale marina. So if there's, boat maintenance, fueling, things of that nature, similar to the water park, that's not our strength, and it typically makes the most sense for the broker to separate that full-service marina operation from the hotel component.
Okay. We have a question here. Do you write bed and breakfast accounts under this program?
So we don't target bed and breakfast, and we will write a bed and breakfast. The trouble that we typically find is usually they are a limited number of rooms. They're usually like a frame non-sprinkler construction. So it typically doesn't meet that large, full-service, full-scale operation that we're looking for. But depending on the risk, if it's large enough, and if they do have the proper controls in place on the property, we would certainly consider it. And we do write some.
Okay. So just a few more, time for just a few more questions. So we have one here. Are resorts located in the Caribbean considered?
So we are only writing in the 50 states at this time. So we are a domestic product. We're filed in all 50 states. So unfortunately, we are not a market for anything outside of the 50 states currently.
Okay. So we'll do just a couple more here. Is there a minimum premium for the program?
There's not a firm minimum premium. I mean, we say typically we're not targeting accounts under, say, $30,000 or $35,000, but there's no firm line there. Typically, the lower premium accounts don't fit our appetite. So they're not going to have the large property values and the significant room revenues and restaurant revenues and a spa. If they have all those features that we're looking for, that sort of works itself out. Typically, the premium is going to be well above our minimum.
Okay. And our last question today, do you have marketing materials that you can share?
Yes, of course we do. So we have, as I mentioned before, we do have an in-house sales and marketing team. We have hard copies of all sorts of marketing material that we can send. We have electronic items we can send. We have a PowerPoint that it does a great job of explaining our program, and we can actually add your logo, the broker's logo, onto our PowerPoint. So it's essentially showing as a partnership between us and that broker for you to help present that to your client. In certain instances, we'd be happy to even go to your client meeting with you and assist you in presenting. So we'd be very excited to assist all of our brokers throughout the marketing process.
Okay, thank you. So before we wrap up, just wanted to remind the audience to visit zprogramsmatch.com for more information on the Resort and Boutique Hotel program, as well as Zurich's other programs, to request contact from program administrators, and for access to recorded webinars and other content in the Knowledge Center. And also, if you do have a question that you weren't able to have answered during the webinar today, again, please submit a request for contact to Venture, and they will be happy to answer your question. Also, we'd like to remind you that there are a few ways to contact Zurich and Z Programs Match with any questions or feedback you might have. So if you have questions about Z Programs Match or would like to make any suggestions about the site or our webinar series, please email info@zprogramsmatch.com. If you ever have any difficulty getting a response from a program administrator after submitting a request for contact, just send a note to agentfeedback@zprogramsmatch.com, and we will be happy to help you get in touch with the appropriate program administrator. We appreciate your business and your interest in the Z Programs Match webinar series. Zurich looks forward to serving you as we work together to provide for the insurance needs of our mutual customers. This concludes today's presentation. Thank you again for attending, and make it a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating in today's conference. This does conclude the program, and you may all disconnect. Everyone, have a great day.